everybody, this is Rydo, and we are looking at all the new cards for the next expansion to Hearthstone, the Boomsday project. So, quite generously, I think Hearthstone has decided to make it easy to see all the cards. They've revealed them on their own website and through several other sources, but you can also just look at them through the game, which is when I step in because I want to actually be able to look at all the cards in a more ordered manner and a less controlled flow of information. Now, if you look at the shop, it seems like, because this is ending August 30th, that the Boomsday project is not going to start until the 30th. So they've also given me an incredibly free amount of time to look at all the new cards, which is great. Also, when the new expansion comes out, that will be a great thing because I can rebuild a lot of decks using hsreplay.net and the amount of dust I've been saving up to try to get better decks that actually win. I have seen some more success with that. Now, to see the Boomsday project, what you want to do is go into crafting mode, and then you can select under standard sets Boomsday, and you'll notice you don't see the unique cards. You just include uncraftable cards because right now they are all uncraftable. They will be craftable, one assumes, at least. They always have been in the past once the set is out. So we're going to look at the Druid cards today, and then I will have separate videos for each of the character class, and then one particularly long video for the neutral class. I'm also starting rather late, 2:30 in the morning, to stream this. You know, in the past I've tried to get these videos out really fast, and they've probably helped me get a few more views, but they've also certainly killed me as far as just how much extra work it takes. But let's hop into it. The first card we have is a 1 mana common card that is a spell called the Biology Project. Each player gains 2 mana crystals. That's an interesting card for the Druid. It seems a little overpowered. Every expansion probably moves that power creep up just a little bit. That's generally what you want to do, so that people play the new cards and get bored and don't have really reason to stick with the old cards. This also softens the blow, of course, when the old cards become wild sets and thus aren't playable in the standard play, which a considerable amount of the expansions are now in the wild sets. So we definitely need to get new cards to replace them. Next one we have is a 1 mana legendary. That's what this little dragon card. It is also indicated as a legendary by the legendary here and the orange symbol. Of course, it's a little faded out right now because I don't actually have the cards. It's a spell called Floop's Glorious Gloop. Whenever a minion dies this turn, gain 1 mana crystal this turn only. For the Druid, I don't know what this would really play with. So there must be some new cards that synergize with this, because just in general the Druid doesn't tend to have 7 minions on the board and then at a point in the game where spending 1 mana and then gaining 7 more mana because you killed 7 minions. I guess you could gain as many as 14 mana if you could go that high, so you could get as many as 10, because if there were 5 minions on your side and 5 minions on the opponent's side, which would probably be somewhere around the 5th or 6th turn, you play 1 mana, you get 5 more mana for that 1 turn. It still really feels like you'd only be playing a extra 5 mana card. So I don't know what this synergizes with yet, so it seems like it has to synergize with something to be a legendary. Although in the last expansion synergies. A lot of cards were kind of just labeled as legendary because every druid, every character class needed to have certain numbers of legendaries, and there definitely were cards that didn't feel like they should be legendary or limited to having only one. This is a good example. Like, why couldn't I play 2 of these and double the amount of mana I get? How is that really going to change anything? Moving on, we have our first minion, a 2 mana, 2 attack, 3 health minion called Dendroglist. It has a battle cry. If you control a Trent, discover a spell. You have a decent chance. It's not the highest chance right now to have a Trent on your side as a Druid player. But yeah, there's several cards that summon Trents. For example, this 3 mana spell Landscaping summoned 2 2/2 Trents. Unless we see, I guess what we're going to start to see is more cards that specifically react to Trents, which are a Druid only character as far as I recall. I don't think you can summon them in any other character class. So we may start seeing more synergy around that idea, which would be fun. Unfortunately, for the big metagame, Druid has been one of the top character classes for a while now, so I don't really feel like you should add too much to the Druid. If anything, we need to get some of the lesser entertaining and lesser winning hero classes to start winning. Give them some crazy new concepts and try to rebalance it. Ideally, with every expansion, the top 3 character classes would become the bottom 3 character classes, and everything else would move up and cycle of the 9 character classes, so the other 6 would move up. That way there's just always a rotation and some freshness in the game. Next we have a 4 mana, 3 attack, 4 health legendary minion called Phlebotomist Floop. I suppose that's how that's supposed to be, like a phlebotomist. While this is in your hand, this is a 3/4 copy of the last minion you played. Well, there's certainly some craziness that you could probably do with that, because I assume it will become a copy of that minion with any death rattle, battle cries, or other special abilities. So for 4 mana, you might be able to play, say, a 3/4 version of the Lich King, which would have a taunt and give you a special card at the end of the turn. Let's see. Next we have a 4 mana spell called Juicy Psych Melon. Draw a 7, 8, 9, and 10 cost minion from your deck. I don't know why you would want to do this. Even if it was your 6th turn instead of your 4th turn when this could be played, this feels like what this would be is a card that's really good for people who play their cards too early and don't hold on to anything, don't hold anything close to the vest. I am a terrible player at particularly that strategy. I love to throw cards out and run out around the 4th or 5th turn. So I could see that, but I imagine the experts are also going to have one specific 7, one specific 8, one specific 9, and one specific 10. Or I assume you could just have one specific 10 and have no 7, 8s, or 9, and this card will still work. And this would be a 4th turn solution to getting very, very specific cards for very, very specific strategies. I imagine we'll see this epic level card used and abused quite often in higher meta play. Epic is of course above rare, and this is the blue is rare cards. Next card, yeah, it goes common, rare, epic, and then legendary. Next minion we have is a 6 mana 34, again a 34, called the Tending Tauren. Choose one, give your other minions +1/+1, or summon 2/2/2 Trents. Now there is a legendary character that I'm not sure if it's in the wild set now, or if it's still in standard, that makes your choose one cards do both. And that's really the only synergy I've ever seen with the choose one cards. But you really don't even need a synergy with these cards, because just having more options is very, very useful. I've heard other YouTubers and people into Hearthstone saying that the best card in the game is just the coin. Just having more options to play. Being able to potentially draw more cards or play more cards is super, super useful. Next we have a 7 mana 4 attack 4 health minion called the Dream Petal Florist. At the end of your turn, reduce the cost of a random minion in your hand by 7. Well, let's see. You already see a synergy here with this card. You play this on the 4th turn. Maybe you play something like this or something else, so you have more mana. You play this, let's say you just play it at the 7th turn. Well, you've got an 8, a 9, and a 10 that would become then a 1, a 2, and a 3. Or a 3. Not a ton of health, not a ton of attack, certainly. But you keep this protected with a taunt minion, and even if it survives 2 turns, I think you've gotten quite a lot of value out of it. And then we have an 8 mana minion with 4 attack and 4 health called the Gloop Sprayer. Battlecry, summon a copy of each adjacent minion. That's pretty crazy, and that's just a common card. I could see this being a legendary card, really, because again, if you have the Lich King to the side of you, and you play this on the 9th turn, because the Lich King is, I believe, 8 mana, then you've got 2 Lich Kings. If you have Kelth Azult, which is a character that causes all your minions to resummon if they died at the end of the turn. If they died in that turn, they resummon, so you get 1 Kelth Azult on the field, and then you make another copy of it. It's practically impossible to ever kill off both Kelth Azults. Their health are just too high in the same turn, and if you can get even 1 or 2 taunt minions, it's an impenetrable wall of characters. Finally, we have the 10 mana 8 attack 8 health mech. They are getting back into mechs. There really haven't been any mechs since Goblins vs Gnomes. It felt like the forgotten stepchild of minion classes, but they definitely wanted to introduce them in the reintroduce them in the Boomsday project to make them work with their new magnetism metric, which we didn't see any minions with magnetism in Druid. So I imagine these probably are relatively weak cards, just on that factor. This is a 10 mana, so you could really only play it on the 10th turn or when you have 10 mana. 8 attack, 8 health. It has rush, which means it can attack a minion but not a hero on the first turn. And it costs 1 less for each friendly Trent that died the game. So there's your game ender as far as playing Trents. And all kinds of things would certainly work with this. And you're seeing little bits of synergy. A lot better than the last expansion, Witchwood, where it seemed like cards were just kind of randomly in that way. So if I look at all the Druid cards, there is quite a lot, certainly. There's quite a lot I don't have, too. but I'm trying to find the legendary, and I could probably search for it if I knew the name, but cards have gotten certainly crazy like that. We're not going to get any hero replacements in this expansion, which was fine. It was kind of weird that they had hero replacements for the previous expansion because of the way that worked. Let's see. Yeah, actually what I need to do is just type in the phrase choose one and perhaps spell it right. CHOOSE. There we go. So these are all the cards with choose one, which would have been a strategy to play, but the card that makes your choose one cards work and do both is in the wild set. So people playing wild are definitely going to have more fun with the choose one strategy. And it probably, here it is, Findrel Staghelm from the Whispers of the Old Gods. Your choose one cards and powers that have both effects combined. This is probably a slightly difficult to program to card, frankly, because of the way they are going to have to constantly program combined effects and what the order of those are. So, yeah, there's only one choose one, so that's definitely not the idea for this. I imagine the idea here is Trent's. Let's see if I spelled that right. Nope, did not. It must have an A in it. Showing off my excellent spelling skills here. So, Trent, add 3 Trents to your hand, summon 2/2 Trents, summon 2/2 Trents for every card that kills, summon 3 2/2 Trents. Interesting, there's like a 3 version and a 2 version of that same card. Transform your mana crystals into 2/2 Trents, recover the mana when they die. So if you played Living Mana with the legendary card that gives you an extra mana for every minion that dies, you've got a combination there that already seems incredibly crazy. You certainly couldn't fill a deck with 30 Trent related cards, however, but you certainly could get this cost of this card down quite a bit. I'm looking really forward to seeing what they decide to do in the top players, the top meta deck cards. And when we get to the neutral cards, I imagine we'll start to see more cards that synergize with just everything. But that's going to be it for the Druid cards. Stay tuned if you're watching live, I suppose. That's it for this recording. As always, I end my recordings the same way. I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me, friend me on Steam and gift me a game or gift card, or send me a Steam game code through Twitter direct message. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.